the number one issue I see when people are learning their swipes is the hips being very, very low to a point where you're basically almost executing like a footwork. It just straight up makes you look like an amateur. So the big question is, how do we fix this very, very common issue? So people have been begging me for years now to make a swipe tutorial. Well, the day has finally come. And above that, we're gonna try out this completely new format where I have one of my advanced students, BBoy Rabin, aka the chosen one from Battle Droids crew, show us the steps to learn the swipe. But above that, we'll be teaching the swipe to new upcoming students, so you get to see the progress in real time as they apply the same steps that you're about to learn right now. And if you enjoy this format, then I'll definitely make others in the future.
Great Scott!
So before learning swipes, I strongly recommend you to have a bunch of basics. A little bit of handstand will come in handy, a baby freeze or a turtle freeze, and also having a little bit of knowledge in what direction you spin when executing your power moves. For example, knowing how to do a handspin or a little bit of windmill are definitely things that are gonna help you out with your swipe. If you don't know how to do a handstand, or you don't know how to do a baby freeze, or you don't know how to do a windmill or a backspin, then head on over to my YouTube channel, because there you will find videos on all these moves. So if you turtle or baby freeze on your right hand, then you should execute your swipe to the left. However, if you perform your baby freeze or your stab freeze or turtle freeze on your left hand, then you will throw your swipe to the right. Now, a good thing to know and to try out first is the fact that with each swipe, we rotate a quarter circle in the opposite direction of which the arm swings. So that means if I swing my arms to the left, then my legs will rotate and land a quarter circle to the right, and the other way around. Now, applying this quarter circle with each swipe will make you avoid traveling all over the floor while executing your swipe. Now, I'm not saying it's not possible, and to be honest, a traveling swipe does look pretty dope, but a regular swipe has to be executed in the middle of the floor so you don't fall off your stage or crash into the people standing around the cipher. I mean, most power moves should be executed on one particular spot, and we do this by applying this quarter circle. Now, just like my students, try this out first. Plus, it's a great warm-up for your swipe, and it's gonna help you understand the swipe a lot better. As you can see, all these young students all trying this out, figuring out how it works for themselves. Now, make sure when executing this that you keep your hips nice and high and create a big swing and big jump with those arms. These are just good habits you wanna pick up while working on these first steps towards your swipe. Also, jumping with those legs and using a little bit of bounce definitely won't hurt. Keeping in mind that we're using both legs at this point, because I strongly believe it's a lot easier to learn your swipe with both legs in the beginning, and then once you start to master those swipes, you can easily transition to the swipes with one leg, as we'll see later in this video. Now, I'm not gonna give you guys crappy explanations like
You should swing your leg under this and that.
I'm straight up gonna hit you guys with the most common issues and the most common mistakes when people are learning or trying out their swipes. And the number one issue I see when people are learning their swipes is the hips being very, very low to a point where you're basically almost executing like a footwork. It just straight up makes you look like an amateur. And let me know in the comments down below if you're somebody who actually struggles with this issue, because it's your lucky day, buddy. I'm gonna fix it right up for you.
Okay.
So the fix for this is executing one swipe, preferably out of your power kick, and then trying to land that swipe in a standing up position. So basically executing one swipe and then landing on your feet and just simply standing up straight. As you can see, when you perform this, your hips stay really, really high, so very, very far away from the floor, creating the complete opposite of that very, very common mistake.
Nice.
If you feel comfortable with this, or you want to be a little adventurous, I could also recommend you trying this out on one leg. And as you can see, a lot of the students quickly adapt to this, and even though they're not executing multiple swipes yet, the form starts to look a lot better, bringing them one step closer to the actual swipe. Now be careful, because the fact that you can execute one of these swipes does not mean that you automatically got your swipes on lock. You still have a few steps you have to go through, and it will take a little time for you to really master decent swipes. Now here's where my 20 years of experience really comes into play, because what we're gonna do at this point is perform one swipe, keeping in mind that we almost wanna stand up straight, but because a second swipe at this point is still very, very difficult for most beginners, we wanna replace the second swipe with a snake or a caterpillar, or I don't know what the different names are for this move. So it's basically one swipe with a good high jump and then landing it in this snake or caterpillar move. Very easy to execute, and this is basically the remedy or the vaccine to cure you from those low hip swipes.
Nice.
You're welcome. Now, as you can see, all these upcoming students having a lot of fun with this move. Easy to execute, the form looks good, and it's simply just a genius way to learn your swipe. Yeah, I just called myself a genius.
Nice.
Now at this point, if you don't focus and you don't concentrate while executing this, it's still very easy to let your hips drop back down to the floor again and then get stuck with this low hip swipe. So always keep in mind, you want to do that swipe and then land up in a standing up straight position. So do this on loop as many times as you can until you really start to get comfortable with this, until you reach a point where you really start to feel and see the improvement. Also, a common mistake at this point is switching hands while the feet are still on the floor. So avoid changing hands while your feet are still stationed on the ground and try to switch those hands mid-air. This can definitely be challenging at first, so make sure you use that snake or caterpillar combo to help you execute this the right way. Also, another thing you can do is perform this on both legs to start out with, and then again, if you start to feel comfortable, you can definitely try it on one leg. And then the next most logical step is just trying to execute 2 swipes and then jump into the snake or the caterpillar. Basically just pushing the bar and pushing the numbers on your swipe until you really start to feel it and understand it, and then you're all set to go to try out multiple swipes. Another tip I have to add right here is that when your feet touch the floor during your swipe, it's important to know that the longer you stand on your feet, the bigger the chance of you going back down and letting those hips drop. So as soon as your feet hit the floor, you're not even going to stand 1/10 of a second on those feet because you're already jumping into the next swipe. You're not giving your hips or your body any time to drop or any time to slow down. It's swipe and then those feet quickly on the floor, and then you're already jumping into the next swipe. It all goes very, very fast, so make sure you're very, very aware of this.
The Force will be with you.
So learn all of this with both legs on the floor. And when you know how to perform multiple swipes with both legs on the floor, now would be the time for you to learn the swipe with one leg. Already knowing the feel and the rhythm of the swipe, the way you swing the arms and how fast your feet tap the floor. When now performing your swipe with one leg, you now have the other leg to swing and sweep to help you lift and levitate yourself into the next swipe. Basically using that leg to contribute to the swiftness of the move. And as you can see, Rabin right here, as soon as his foot touches the floor, he then swings the leg into the next swipe to make it look really smooth and really light. And when you learn a certain move, there are 2 things you can do with it. Number 1 is you can try out different variations, and let me know in the comments if you would like an advanced swipe variation video. And then the other thing you should do with your move is learn how to combine it with other moves. Keeping in mind that you can find a lot of tutorials of other moves on my YouTube channel, of course. And I just keep uploading every single week. So it would be pretty sad if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet. Also, if you're looking for that more advanced and more prestigious content, then take a look on my website, because I'm sure you'll find something that will absolutely change your B-boy and B-girl career for life. So we hope you enjoyed our swipe session right here, and I definitely hope that you'll learn a thing or two, just like these new upcoming Mini Droids. They did a good job, right? This is your boy, Coach Sambo.
Your online B-boy coach.
And at the end of the day, when you think about it, it's just all about that B-boy shit. Peace and love.
Nice.